So Vuyani mentioned that when we met, I was doing actuarial science. I dropped out of that to pursue music. So, I didn't finish off with that. He didn't have a car when we started dating, right? But he's now the breadwinner.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us. It is the month of love. We are celebrating love. If you're a new subby, welcome to the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Don't forget to like and comment on the videos. So today we're doing something so special. We're doing a love series. We are celebrating love, and it is the month of love, like I said. So yeah, stay tuned as we talk more about love. I've got Hlobeautiful and Vuyani with me, the Shabangus, and they'll be telling us all about their love journey. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Baba Shabangu, thank you so much for joining us, the Comedians, today. We're so happy to have you in the channel. So, I guess please say hi to our people. Can you tell us more about yourselves? Introduce yourselves. Tell us how you guys met. I'm so eager to hear all about your story.
Hello to the new people. Well, not new, to the people whom I am new to.
Yes,
dying to get onto this channel. I'm Hlobeautiful.
My name is Vuyani.
Yes, and we met in 2012 at the University of Pretoria.
Yo, that's a long time, guys. 2012.
Sure. How old were you guys, if you don't mind sharing?
Long time ago. I was born in 1992.
Early 20s. Early 20s. Yeah.
20s. Okay.
Yeah.
Really good.
You tell the story of how we met. Your version is shorter.
Yeah, let me.
It's always shorter, but I guess more reliable.
So yeah, she was studying actual science, and I was doing IT degree, and so there was a class that I did. There was a maths module that I did, where she was in. And there was like a mutual friend who she knew that needed some help with like an IT module that they were doing.
Yeah.
So and then that's how we met. That's then like I noticed her from her group of friends and from class. I was like.
So it's one thing meeting.
Yes.
How long after that did you guys start dating?
Yeah.
Let's say like I think it was like the beginning of the year, the academic year when we met.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that? I'm gonna say February, right?
Yeah, that's when we met.
See, okay. And we started dating on the 13th of April.
Wow.
See, I know the dates. I can even give you a time.
Wow, that's insane. Wow. So, you guys were still in varsity. I mean, I guess the question that everyone almost asks all the time, right? How did you know he was the one, and how did you know she was the one?
Okay, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
So, shame I didn't know it was the one. Hey, I know in the version of how we met that I like talking, and I say it because it is true. When he walked into that computer lab to help us with that module, I saw there was like an extra light shining on him.
Oh wow! But that was the first time.
But for me, I really, because like the first thing was the looks, because you can't say I fell in love with his personality. I didn't even say hi to him. I just saw a good looking man. I was like, woo, you can really nice looking kids.
I mean, that's fair, right?
But then we formed a friendship that I forced to happen, you know.
I won't ask more details.
You must work hard for what you believe in, ladies. So it was in that friendship that I realized that this is actually a good person. You know, he's not just a good-looking person, but he's great on the inside. And the ideals that he had. I mean, he's actually the one who invited me to church, and I got born again. You know, so like those things, I'm like, so I'm going to have a husband who prays.
Wow.
Yes.
So
that's actually.
Was this within the 2-month period, or was this now after?
I think because I think I was also in that journey. I was actually also getting into the church thing and you know, just learning. I think as I was growing, I was starting to be like, yo, maybe you should come with me.
Oh, okay.
And I think it as I started to grow, and she was also growing. I think that was because the question being, how did I know she was the one? I didn't know at the start, but I think as we grew together, you know, like I was like, this is the person I want to spend my life, the rest of my life.
There's some magic in people growing together. I'm personally attracted by the fact that the guy was the one that invited the girl to church.
Exactly.
Usually it's the other way.
It's harder. Because what usually happens is that the guy will go to church not because his heart is in it, but because he's being nagged to do it, and it won't last. So I think it's best.
So in your case, it was actually the other way around.
Wow, that is amazing. That's so amazing.
And it actually happened after, because we started dating on the 13th of April, and on the 13th of May is the day I got born again, when I went to church for the first time. So it happened after. But what I want to highlight is that, and this actually happens a lot with girls, I don't know if guys do this as well. You know, you'll sit down and you'll write down a list of what you want in a guy.
List,
It's silly. Don't do that. Just first of all, the ideals that you have. You're young, so you don't even really know what you are looking for in a guy, but you think you know. And because you hold on to that list like your whole life depends on it, you actually miss out on meeting amazing people who aren't exactly, you know, that list that you wanted. Because I had a list. I'm one of those girls. I had a list. And then, you know, when I met Vuyani, I started realizing attributes about him that weren't even on my list, that were very important. Like things like he must be born again were not on that list. And I'm looking at the trajectory that my life has taken and how our marriage is because of that. And I'm like, no.
So the other thing that I have a problem with, especially when it gets to this is going to become a girls' show.
The
other thing that I'm also very against when it gets to the whole list thing is that, like, you meet someone for the first time and already, without even knowing them for so long, you're able to tell, he got 4 out of 5. Like, how is that even possible? Don't you have to know someone for a long time to be able to assess whether they meet whatever criteria or not? Like, that does not work.
Oftentimes you'll find that the things on that list are superficial to begin with. He must have a car. My favorite reaction or like retort to that one is, do you even have a car? If you want him to have a car, let's just start this, because now you just want, he's out of your league. Or if he has a car,
so if you want a 6-pack, do you?
But in the long run, that car, that 6-pack is going to do nothing that will add value to your life the way you need. There will be no spiritual growth. It will just be superficial. You just want to do that pose where you're holding his hand there by the gear and love lives here, but it doesn't really.
I mean,
you know, so let go of that list. Just you can have little things that you want. Just make sure it's not superficial things like a car. I mean, also, so Vuyani mentioned that when we met, I was doing actuarial science. I dropped out of that to pursue music. So, you know, I didn't finish off with that. He didn't have a car when we started dating, right? But he's now the breadwinner. So, you like...
and it's so crazy.
And the whole listing is quite interesting, because going back to you, right, as the guy, you did not have a list. What I'd or what the viewers would like to find out, everyone would probably ask themselves, or every guy would ask themselves is, did you consult God? Because now you're a young believer, and you're in this journey, right?
Yeah.
And now you're a Christian, right? Did you consult God about it? Did you pray about it?
And did you get an answer?
Did you get an answer there? Did you hear God's voice from heaven? Saying yes.
Yeah.
I think that's a question that people ask themselves.
And to be honest, I was so young in God, in my Christian life. I don't even think I was at the point where I was praying for that. I think for me it was just, this is a girl I like being with her. But one thing we adopted as we were in the next few months, as we were also growing, we started praying for even our relationship, that it's pure, that it glorifies God. We started to pray for our future, because we knew we wanted to get married to each other. So we wanted to pray for that marriage, and what that should be what God, God desires. And that's, So to be honest, I don't think I prayed as we were starting.
I think the master of it all comes with the fact of growing together.
And the foundation, the fact that you guys, at the very beginning, right? You set out your objective in terms of what you're trying to achieve from this relationship, what I mean? So I like that you guys actually set a picture where you see yourself, and you actually prayed about that, so the foundation is very important.
Yeah, agreed, fully. So here you are, you start dating, you're in your varsity days, and you date for a long time before getting married. You guys got married 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So you're dating for the longest of time, and yet at the same time, you're embarking on this journey of really intimately getting to know Christ. So how do you balance that? We all know that in a relationship, there's a whole lot of temptations, as I may call it, that are really against some principles of God. So how did you guys maneuver that situation? 7-8 years is a very long time of dating before marriage. So I'm just curious to find out what happened during the 8 years.
Personally, I wouldn't recommend dating for that long.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's just like I said, there was a bit of dropping out happening there, so that the marriage part couldn't happen as quickly as it should have. But it is what it was. So because this is a spiritual thing, we tend to want to overcomplicate it. And it's not that complicated. So the things that worked for us is that we had dates like on the lawn. So the University of Pretoria has beautiful gardens. Those were our praying spots. Those were our picnic spots. We'd sometimes go to the union buildings back when it was still safe. People get mugged there now. Or we'd go to a restaurant. So there was no need for me to go to his place so we can pray.
So you guys made sure that you meet in like a public space.
So set boundaries.
For good 8 years though.
Yeah.
I think I think one thing that to kind of give you the perspective is always to have an idea of what you really want your marriage to be. So we have people in our lives that we look at and we say, that's how I want my marriage to be. And it's not people on Instagram. In fact, you probably wouldn't follow them on Instagram, right? Because it doesn't look nice and shit, but actually, because you know them, you know what their families, you know their children, you know what their marriage is about, and then you can follow their example. And when you going out of line, they can always bring you back, and you can trust that this will lead me to what they already have. So just from the start, have the vision of what you want. That will then lead the how do we and that then setting the boundaries, then that's important, and you know yourself, you know your weaknesses. And I think when it comes to celibacy, the big thing is to don't think you're a hero, because you're not, right? And
don't test yourself.
Don't test yourself, because we had to learn. We had to know, okay, this was a bad idea. Next time we're not gonna do this. And we grow, you know, in that, and we set boundaries. We're accountable to each other. We make sure we're not alone, like she said. You know, we make sure we don't make ourselves vulnerable to ourselves. Yeah.
So I'm learning something so important from this conversation, right? And I almost want to say, I don't know if I'll be able to articulate this, but if we want to achieve certain things in life, celibacy being one, I don't know what else, but many other things, we sort of have to get out of this bubble that we currently live in, because in this bubble that we're currently living in, there's a lot of influence that we see and we think is right. So we need to be intentional from the beginning in terms of what we want, and then make decisions that we want to do this and stick to it, and not allow ourselves to be influenced by the environments that we live in. I think that's a very important thing that I'm learning from this thing, because when you look at ourselves, for example, right? We weren't fortunate enough to experience celibacy, and I call it fortunate because I think it's one of the greatest gifts that God has ever granted. So we're not fortunate enough to experience that, and when we look at it now, we almost think that it's because of silly pressures that we allowed to impact our impressions of what love should have been like during our days of dating.
I think it's a matter of just because it looks good does not mean it's right. Right?
Or because everyone else is
doing it.
It's that. So now that you've touched on that, I'd just like to know who from as an individual, as Mchita, you know. I mean, here you are, you're in your 20s, man. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's a lot going on, right? You're just hyper as a guy, you know. And I mean,
energy levels are high.
You know. And I mean, you're in varsity, you know. It just makes everything, you know what I mean? Like you're at the right place, you know, to do what you want. You've got your freedom, but you are in this relationship. You know, I mean, what kept you going? You know what I mean? Like you've already touched on the importance of having mentors or looking up to people, right? But and I mean that was both of you, you know. But you as an individual, as a guy, what kept you going?
I think like you have to pray about things, right? The things that are important to you. And for me, that was something that was important to us. But a lot of it was also the fact that there's two of us. So when I'm weak, she'll be like, no, what are you doing, right? And so and obviously once the nice thing about the boundaries is that you don't even give yourself an opportunity, because you prepared that even when at your weakest point, like there's nothing that can even happen because you're in public or whatever it is. So you make sure that you're prepared before the thing happens, right? So
it's discipline as well.
So to the viewers at home, we are trying to lay down a very important message here. We are celebrating love. I mean, it's the month of love. It's Valentine's Day soon, but more than anything, we're trying to preach a message that it is possible to get into marriage without having sex with your future husband. It's possible to preserve all of that for marriage and do things the right way, do things the way God wants us to do them. So that's what we're trying to get into. And I think we've covered the basics in terms of how it went about and how they ended up getting married after being celibate for about 8 years. Now I just want to find out, now that you're married, right? Now that you guys are staying together, what would you say are the benefits of you guys having been celibate for so long? What would you say is something that you look back on and you're like, you know what, it was actually worth it?
So before we get to the benefits of it, I actually forgot to mention one thing. So I think also it has to do with worldly influence, that you think when you're dating, there's nothing to do in the relationship but to have sex. But that's actually a good time to know each other. Like if people spend more time knowing each other, you'd get out of a lot of bad situations, because people often say, we got married and then he changed. No, you didn't change. You just stopped having sex and started having to talk and realize that's not the person you thought the person was.
I fully agree.
So when you go out, like for our dates, we used to do things like you'd take me to bounce, we went horse riding, but in there you learned the things that I liked. You learned my personality in different settings. So don't think about it as this is a period of not having sex. It's actually a period of exploring and getting to know each other, which leads up then to the benefits thereafter. Like we know each other. It's just that, well, we spend more time now together, but like he knows my favorite color from back then. Well, when was it when you were bragging about how well you know? We're at that place where we know each other, but also please don't now be rigid. People change, guys. So if I liked yellow in 2012, it's 2021 now. Let me like green. You know. So what benefits?
I think for me the biggest benefit is that. There's almost like a protection now that we're married. We're in a safe space where it's allowed. It's honoring God even. There's no guilt afterwards. There's no what if she gets pregnant? It's just a safe place. Then there's no need to impress and perform. It's really just it's beautiful. Yes, I can just enjoy it and be a married couple. It's not, you're not performing. You're not trying to. Not trying to impress. Like you're really just trying to. You just. I don't want to describe it too much.
There are a lot of benefits.
But
there are a lot of benefits
with what he's saying. It's not just having had sex with each other before marriage. It's having sex with other people before, because then that becomes like a comparison thing. And it's not even that I'm comparing. Maybe at the back of his mind is thinking, but am I as good as the last guy? Like it's just dangerous having sex before marriage. It opens doors to so many unwanted things.
Soul ties is where you're getting it. Soul ties is where you're getting it. And I think we don't talk about this much as young people, and there's a need to, because there's a lot of young people that are still probably in high school that still stand a chance to make something out of their sexual lives. And when I learned of soul ties was of recent, actually 2 years ago. I didn't know such a thing existed, and I was so amazed how everything actually made sense, that there's no ways that you can be involved with someone sexually and be okay, because the whole act of sex is something
spiritual.
It's so spiritual. It definitely
there's
takes
an
something
exchange that actually happens
there's an exchange
during that intercourse. That's why it's an intercourse.
An exchange of energy. So you can't overlook the fact that that will definitely have an impact in your life, especially if, number one, you don't spend the rest of your life with that person, because then you carry their spirits. And number two, even worse, if you have that same interaction with a lot of people. I think that's just very dangerous.
And just to add there, I mean, from a street perspective, right? In the streets, it's perceived as cool, you know what I mean, to have a body count, you know what I mean. Guys usually brag to one another in terms of what's your body count, what's your body count. I have 5, I've got 10, you know what I mean. But it all comes back to the soul ties topic, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very
only
important.
when you get older that you realize, actually, you know what, all these things are not even close to being cool.
Yeah.
They're not even close to being cool. So, we can go on about soul ties. I'm very passionate about the topic.
I think soul ties needs its own YouTube channel.
YouTube channel for a lifetime. But I've learned all the benefits, and I think just hearing your story is very inspiring, even to me who's already married. It's very, very inspiring. Now, I just want us to talk about marriage life in general. How are you guys finding marriage life? Like, how is it to be married and be living together?
Have you gained any weight? What's happening?
I'm comfortable. I'm even comfortable. I'm at that point where I'm comfortable with all these things.
Every time we go to Swaziland, our mom always points out how when I've so.
There's the clothes. But I actually like actually how you put it. Every time you go to Swaziland, our mom. You know what I mean? It just shows the unity. You know what I mean? That you guys are actually one as well.
Yeah. That is a blessing, really. And we spoke about it with her this other time. She was like, there was this incident where the mom was like to the daughter-in-law, this is not my child, and all of that. And she was like, I was just hoping the whole time that, my relationship would be different. And I prayed about this. Vuyani did say, if you care about something, you must pray about it. And going back to our mentors, the people we looked up to, so we call them cell leaders. My cell leader is Mukhao. And her relationship with her mother-in-law was like, no man, I can have this. This is how it's supposed to be. It's like, no man, I'm praying for this. This is definitely what I want. Like, it feels weird calling her my mom-in-law.
Yeah, I was actually about to say, because it's using terms like, it's the little things, that actually make that actually have a whole impact in this thing. Because the world out there, they teach us to call them our in-laws. You know what I mean? It then becomes hard for one to adapt or get used to saying mom. You know what I mean? Why do I have to say your mom or my mom? You know what I mean? So that's why I actually like the whole our mom kind of thing.
That's another topic on its own. In-laws.
In-laws, yeah.
Okay, so just to close things off, what would you guys say to a young person, probably not married, who's watching this channel, who aspires to get married, and really wants to tap into that love lives here space? What would you say to a person like that?
If you can just stop looking at YouTube and Instagram couples, start off there. That is
but you can.
We're not saying no. Don't aspire. Don't live your life to be like us or be like the Shabangu.
Exactly.
Create your own thing.
Make you be your own starting point. What you can do is you can single out principles of theirs that you feel, oh, this can work for us. Like, you look at us, you're like, celibacy, let me take, but don't now look at us and be like, I want that. You don't know us, first of all. Like, if you're my disciple, you best look at this life. But, for most of the people who are watching this is probably the first time they even see my face. So all you're seeing is the fun side that you see on Instagram. You don't know my life. Don't look at that now. Oh my gosh, he bought her a car for their wedding. Oh, he took her to Maldives. No, do your own thing. You will find that actually love is so amazing when you decide what it is, not based on what you saw. Yeah, what would you say?
What is the question?
What would you say to someone out there who aspires to get married? How can they get to the love lives here?
I think first of all, being the topic here being celibacy. I think it's never too late.
Yeah.
There's because you might be watching this and thinking, hey, my body count is in the 3 digits. So I really when it comes to God, there's always grace.
Yes.
The Bible says His grace is sufficient. I'm not about to preach, but His grace is sufficient, and there's always. You just need to say, you know what, I want this for my life. Talk to the person that you're with, or set this as a standard for when you get into a relationship, and pray to God and say, help me to live my life like this, because I want that as a result. One thing that I can I know this for a fact, where God sets a rule or you know, a command where He says, you know, you need to do something, there's always a reward.
Yeah.
Like I look at my marriage now, there's always a reward to something you had to be obedient to.
That's you, babe.
There's always, and that's something you can find me, and if that doesn't happen for you, you can like find me and clap me. But there's always a reward to God's obedience.
Doesn't matter how long it takes to see the reward, but it's certainly coming. As long as it's all for His glory that we do it.
Yeah.
Any questions, love?
Not a question, but I think Ufu has already spoken or touched on it. You know, I was about to ask that. How do you then speak to a young guy that's out there, you know, and that says, I'm already in, you know, I'm 5 bodies in, you know what I mean? I've been through it. I can't be like them, right? And even though they're not trying to be like you guys, you know, but I mean, I look at what they have, you know, where do I start? Where do I even go? You know, so what do you say to a young person who's already or who's on the verge of giving up? You know?
Yeah, I think there's always grace. Like always, you can always at any time turn to God and give yourself, because He died for all of us. You know, He didn't say I'm dying for the celibate ones or whatever. He died for all of us, and it's in Him that we were able to even do to live our lives the way that we did. It's not out of our own strength, because we didn't even want to, right? At some point. So just make sure that you once you've set that in your mind, say this is how I want to live my life. Turn to God. He's always ready. His arms are always open, and don't feel condemned and guilty, because that's where we and then you end up now doing it even more because you're already in, and that's the lie that leads us into even bigger problems.
Wow.
So it's never too late.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the time is now. Just don't.
Yeah. It's definitely
No, it's now. Don't. Because
In this cold weather, the time is now.
The man of love. The time is now.
Yeah.
You have no idea how glad I am. I'm married at this point. I'm so grateful.
Like the sun hasn't been here.
Yo! How long? Those rainy mornings. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a lovely session. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like and share the video. Let us know what you think. And from us, from the world of love, it's nothing but love.
Bye.